What is up, winning team? So I wanted to talk to you guys about why do we care so much what people think, and the truth about why celebrities become weird in Hollywood, right? Because I've just been thinking a lot, and a question I've been asking myself slash the Lord is, why do people care so much what other people think? Because I've realized so much of human behavior, right? Especially in social circles. I feel like this is why I don't really like to be around people, is a lot of just people really, really caring way too much about what other people think. And for me, that's annoying, because why do you care what somebody who you don't know, why do you care what they think? And also, the other thing I was realizing, which has kind of made me feel kind of lose even more respect for the little respect I already had for the people of Hollywood, is why do they seem so desperate for attention? Because I was thinking about this whole Kai Cenat stream, which I keep referring back to, because for me, it's just the perfect depiction of you guys were all talking about how these streamers and influencers, you didn't want them at your big Hollywood events, you didn't want them at the VMAs and at the Met Galas and all of this, and you're all getting annoyed. And now you're all coming and promoting yourselves like the pathetic little, sorry, old, outdated celebrities that you are now. Why did that happen? Well, that's what we're going to get into. And why are these people so open to going along with what the devil wants them to do? And I realized it all comes down to people's desperation for validation from the jury of the sheeple at large. And I honestly believe that's what made the Sidemen so powerful, and why they've been able to have such a long career so far on social media and are just going from success to success, because they don't really care what people are saying about them. For the most part, they've continued being themselves despite all the things that people have said on social media and the mass amount of ridicule. And now they are some of the wealthiest of all the influencers, with some of the most businesses. I mean, everywhere I turn, they're making a new business. I saw their ice cream. Now they have another product. I think it's another drink, but that's like a Sidemen drink, not like Prime. And they're just expanding. They're all getting richer. They all have their own businesses as well, independently, or charities or whatever. I truly believe it's because they don't care what people think. But here's what I want to start off with. I'll start with talking about people, like the average folk, and then I'll go on to the celebrities, right? When it comes to the average folk, I'll tell you where I think it starts. I think it starts none other than, of course, the indoctrination camps, school. Because I was thinking, school dynamics, I think, are so toxic. I've said this before. The dynamic of what goes down at school, and how you have groups and cliques and people are classed under certain terms and whatever, I think is so toxic, right? And I feel like we all are kids, right, at some point. It's so funny because Trisha Paytas was saying, I was watching her video, she's on Beetlejuice now on Broadway, which I'm so happy for her, because I remember literally 10 years ago plus, I remember watching her video saying it'd be her dream to be on Broadway one day, so I'm so happy for her. But yeah, she was saying how, ever since becoming a mother, looking at her kids, she sees how excited her daughters and her son are to just be themselves, because her oldest is 3, and then she's just had another baby. Also, her names are iconic, because her kids' names are Malibu Barbie, Elvis, and Aquaman. I think she's freaking iconic. Again, that's another thing that, why, with naming children, right? People are like, oh, why would you call your kids that? Those are such odd names. And it's well, who writes these rules? And I feel like it's these weird kind of almost school dynamics that just extend into our natural lives, where we just care too much what other people think about what we're doing, that we don't just live our own lives and just do what's best for us. So that's what I was thinking about. So anyway, she was saying how she looks at her daughter, and I have a similar experience with my job, where the kids, especially when they're super young, they have all this light in their eyes and they don't care about what anybody thinks about what they're doing. They're just living, And that's one of the things I love about kids. But then she was like, where does it all go wrong? It just kind of gets beaten out of you in life. And it's true, you go through things, we all go through stuff. And then I feel like the things that we go through, somebody makes fun of you for, as you see that with a lot of stars, they have that in common, that they were made fun of. Lady Gaga had a whole, at her school, some of the girls at her school made a whole Facebook page where they were all making fun of her, posting pictures of her and whatever. But look at where she is now. And it's like, people talk a lot about winners and how people got lucky, but a lot of the people who've won in life, they just didn't care. They just decided to keep pushing and being whoever they felt was their true self, despite what others thought. And it just made me think it's really the school dynamic where, because I remember even for myself, right, because I've thought about it, like, I don't really care what people think. And that's just because I don't tend to care about the opinion of somebody that I don't respect. And I don't really respect a lot of people. So it's hard for me to care what people think. If it's like, because it's like, well, why would I care what you think? You're not even respectable. You know what I mean? You're not even whatever. And it takes me back to school, where there was just little things about me at school that, come to think of it, like, you know, when the whole town was believing rumors about me that were not true because of this whole Facebook hacking thing. And I remember, like, at the time, I remember there was even, I can't remember what it was called Ask FM? And you could send people anonymous questions. And I used to get sent all these anonymous questions that were horrible. Like, people were saying such horrible things, because obviously you could do it anonymously. And I remember I just went on with my day. Like, I was like 13, I would just be at home. I didn't have any friends. Everybody was all saying all these lies about me. I just kind of went on with my life. I'd be at home watching Glee, eating a PB&J, drinking milk. That's literally what I would do every night. And I just wasn't that fazed about it, because I was like, you know what? Who cares what all these people think? And I feel like sometimes when you go through certain things, it actually helps you in that way to actually live life and like live freely, which is why I do a lot of things that people think is strange. And I'm like I remember once upon a time, me and my friends were going for a bottomless brunch at this pizza place for my friend's birthday, right? And we needed to get to the venue at, I don't know, let's say we needed to get to the venue for 1:30, right? And it was about 10 minutes drive away. And so she was like, I don't know what's the right time for us to leave or whatever. I was like, well, why don't you just ask the cab driver to pick us up at 10 minutes past 1? And she was like, really? That's a bit of an odd time. Surely I should say like 1:15 or 1/2 past. I was like, why does it matter? Why do we care? Is 10 past not the best time? Is he not going to get paid his money? Is it not up to him to say no? Like, these are the situations I'm talking about where people just care about small, dumb things, right? Where it's like, who really cares? Who really cares? And then do you know what made me realize? It was actually the celebrities, because I realized those guys are the ones who are the most desperate for attention, more than anybody else. And the most desperate for validation from the people, and hence why they're so prepared to do anything just to get those hits of dopamine of people worshipping them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, you know, I was thinking about it when as I've been out through my life. I was thinking earlier how I haven't really done many auditions in my lifetime, which is kind of interesting. And I don't really like doing auditions, because I don't really like the feeling of like trying to prove myself to somebody. I don't like that. I don't like the feeling of like because it kind of feels like begging a little bit. I know that's going to sound insane, and it's nothing against auditioning, but I don't really like the feeling of like, oh, I'm trying to prove myself. I'm trying to like perform to prove that I'm good enough. Like, I don't like that dynamic. But I was thinking about how a lot of these celebrities, they really, whether they're like artists, rappers, you know, desperate to get famous, desperate to be seen, desperate to stay relevant. So that's why a lot of these celebrities now are on these Kai Cenat streams and whatnot. I'm like, for a lot of them, it's like, look, you've got money now. You probably got royalties from like movies you've done or music you've made or something. Surely you can just kick back and enjoy like family life and the nice life. Why are you so desperate, like, to still have another big show and another big moment and another big debut and another big movie about you? And I realized, oh, the celebrities are like the most insecure of everybody. That's what I'm realizing now, because I've seen it. Like, in my short stint in the industry, that's one thing I couldn't get behind, was this like desperation to be booked and like to be seen for the sake of it. I enjoy the creativity of it all. Like, I like to create. That's why, to be honest, I was even thinking, I don't actually need to post any of the creative stuff I do anywhere, because honestly, I'm quite happy to just do it and enjoy it, you know, because that's what's fun for me, you know. And it's funny again, because you have JME, who's a UK rapper. He used to be my favorite rapper actually when I was younger, and he also hangs around the Sidemen, ironically. he's sick, but he's now at a point where he doesn't even post his music. I think he's had a taste for the industry and he's kind of like, not for me. And now he just literally makes music for himself and hangs around in like Sidemen videos and doing social media and stuff, like just doing things for the fun of it, you know. But he's not really out there, and you can see that he's just kind of a bit over the whole like, oh, let me prove myself to the people. Let me like be so desperate. And I also think the other thing, and this is the key thing here, I'm realizing that a lot of people in the industry, the reason why they're getting involved, the reason why I think we're going to see a lot of exposés for all these celebrities to do with the likes of the Diddies of it all, is because they were prepared to do things that they shouldn't have been doing or that were against their morals because they were just that desperate for attention. They were just that desperate, like for a big break or for fame. So like whatever it took. And that's something I think is scary about people. I've realized that people will genuinely do whatever it takes, like for their perceived success. And a lot of people are just genuinely blindly prepared to do just heinous things purely only for the sake of fame and validation. Because I'm like, why does it matter? Why are you coming on Kai Cenat's stream? Or you, like, I keep seeing the celebrities. Mariah Carey's on there. I'm like, Mariah Carey? Like, what are these people doing on Kai Cenat? And again, Mariah Carey has the #1 Christmas song every year, All I Want for Christmas. And I think I heard she makes 30 million. So Mariah Carey can work like a month a year, pop up at a few places, you know what I mean? Hit your New York cities and your wherevers and do your performances on the big, you know, whatever. You're laughing, mate. So what are you doing on Kai Cenat's stream? And it's like, oh, you can see from all of them, Jennifer Lopez is another one who's so obviously not doing well with the fact that she's just not at the forefront. Once upon a time, it was everybody wanted to look like her, have a body like her. You guys can't see me. And all of this stuff. And now it's like, a lot of people have moved on, you know what I mean? And the generation that she inspired, that she was popular with, no offense, like, you know what I mean? They're obviously not supporting her anymore because obviously my generation, we are where we are, you know? So it just occurred to me that this is why these celebrities are so desperate. Like people are actually desperate for validation. And it makes sense because if you don't have the Lord and his sense of approval, I feel like there's a part of us as humans that is looking to know or have some kind of confirmation or approval in life or validation, right? And if that validation doesn't come from God, you're going to find it somewhere else. And it's the same, it goes along with the fear of man versus fear of God. If you don't have the fear of God, you're going to be in the fear of man where you need people to like validate you. Christians do the same thing. Christians show off the things that they do and whatever. I see a lot of the Christian influencers showing what they do in a day and all this. This is why I refrain from some of the stuff myself, because it feels like, are you doing this to help? Are you doing this to glorify God? Or are you doing this because you enjoy having people reaffirm that, oh my gosh, thank you for inspiring me as a Christian girl or a Christian guy. Your life has inspired me and I'm so grateful to be a part of your journey. Like, I've just realized people are very needy. That's what I've been realizing this year, especially. People are very, very needy when it comes to attention and approval and validation. And people are willing to go pretty far for those things. Like, and again, even social media these days is half the reason people on social media, you know. And obviously, I'm now realizing so many times people have said to me, oh, you love having all this attention. You love all the attention. I actually hate it, to be honest with you. But then now I realize that people are projecting because they think, oh, I would want to do this so I could get attention. And I'm like, well, some things I have to do because I have to do them, like this. Unfortunately, a lot of the things I talk about people aren't talking about. So somebody's going to have to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But then that's why I just come out here like with my bare face recording with you guys while I'm just walking outside, not even on the side profile, not even editing the video, because I really care more about what I'm saying. And I'm realizing the reason why people are going to all these lengths is they just really care so much what other people think and are just so desperate. And the celebrities are the worst. And so I feel like the devil, when he's swooping in with these people, he's like, oh, this person's desperate just to have a big break, just for the sake of it, just to be famous. And again, this is why I respect Trisha Paytas, because she's called herself out from the beginning. She's always said, I just want to be famous. I just want to be famous. But she was never prepared to do just anything for fame. which is why I also respect her, but she was like, she always said it, I just want to be famous. All I want is to be famous. I want to be well known, and I respect her on her self-awareness. You know what I mean? And I realized that a lot of people, they just want to be accepted. People just want to be accepted in society. They want to be accepted amongst others. They want the approval of others, and can't really relate. That's the thing. And so I'm now understanding, like, oh, this is why. And I do believe it starts at school, because at school, that's where you being yourself in any kind of way is going to cost you your relationships, because people are going to judge you and make you feel uncomfortable. But then also at the same time, if you push through that and you can actually ignore all the other things that people are saying, you're going to end up being the one that actually succeeds, because everybody else is so busy trying to adhere to whatever societal rules are created by whatever. Everything's weird, everything's awkward, everything's abnormal. But then if you're willing to just rest in that, to go into that, you're the one who ends up succeeding. And then that's why people think you got lucky, when actually it's like, actually that person just had the bollocks to not care too much about what everybody else has to say. Actually, that person was willing to put aside the thoughts of others. Actually, that person didn't need validation from everybody in the first half, because that's the thing. It's all well and good, like somebody like Lady Gaga, people say she's brilliant, she's cool now. It's all well and good now only because she's famous and rich. If she was doing the same exact thing as an average person, she would be considered weird and obnoxious and whatever. So this is what it is. And I believe it all starts at school. It all starts at school, because if I think back to school, everybody just cared so much about what everybody thought. And like me, where I'm at now in life, I'm just like, where I don't care. I guess I've really been pushed into this kind of reality, not by choice necessarily, but hey, I'm happy to be here, because if that means that I actually can live freely, and I do. I honestly feel like I live more freely, thinking less about what people think. I'm like, look, if God says, if I don't feel like I have peace between me and God, that's all I care about. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, if life's a game, it's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.